Hi everyone, and welcome back to Home Baking. Today's recipe, London cheesecakes. This is a nice simple one. So, first what you want to do is get yourself a roll of puff pastry. Now, if you want to be a real hero, you can make it yourself, but it is a super complex recipe to make, and the last thing you want to do is be messing around with hours of making the pastry, rolling it out flat, buttering in it, freezing it, well, putting it in the fridge, sorry, then rolling it out, flattening it, and repeating the process. It's a horrible thing to do. So, just buy the ready rolled stuff. Roll it out flat, and then all you want to do is literally cut it into squares. So let's roll this out. And then we can start cutting it into squares. Now, if some of it does break away, it doesn't matter, because you're just going to put it in one shape anyway and put it straight in the oven for it to puff up. So, alright, cut this sheet in half. I reckon cut it in quarters. And then I reckon, yeah, let's make some nice big ones, and we'll cut it straight down the centre. Make some nice big ones. So yeah. So then all you want to do next is lay these on a lined tray. Now, what you want to do is you want to give them enough space, because they will puff up a little bit. If they do sort of stick together a little bit, it's not too much of an issue. Just wait till they're a bit cooler, and then you can just sort of like gently pry them apart. They shouldn't spread out, but they will obviously puff up. So, like I said, just give them a little bit of room, but don't panic about giving them too much room. Right, do that, and then get them in the oven, middle shelf. I've got the oven preheated to about 170 electric, and yeah, just keep an eye on them. Give them 5 to 8 minutes till they're golden and risen up. Right. So with the pastry in the oven cooking nicely, it's time to move on to the icing. Now, I will just quickly run you through this because we've seen it in other videos, and it's quite a simple thing to do. So, 250 grams of icing sugar. There we go. And then you just want to add water to it slowly. You want it to have a nice consistency. You want it so it's spreadable, but also so that when it sets, it can set sort of right. Once your pastries are out of the oven and they're nicely cooled, now it's time to finish off the cheesecakes. So what you want to do is get one of your squares, and just to make it a little bit funky, I'm going to put a little bit of jam in the middle. So you want a large teaspoon of jam, and just gently spread that on top of one of your pastry sheets. Now, you don't have to be too neat or get towards the edges, that's not a problem. Then get another pastry lid and pop that right on top. Right, that's that done. Then topping. So you want to get your icing, and again you just want to do it nice and slow, nice runny icing, and just gently pour it on. Now you want to give it a nice even layer, but just be careful, because if you do try and spread it, it will obviously tear the pastry a little bit. But yeah, again, you don't have to go towards the edges, but if you want to put lots of icing on, you know, not going to complain. And then once all your icing is on, then it's time to move on to the coconut. Now, I'm just using desiccated coconut. If you can get like the large shredded coconut, beautiful, because that'll be more authentic, but the desiccated one works just as well. So there we go, that's the icing on. Pinch of desiccated coconut, and just sprinkle that all over the top of the icing. And that is your London cheesecake. Ready to go. So as you can see, you can just see the layer of jam and all the icing and coconut on top. And that's the end of the video. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Laters.